The field trip to Miller's farm. The bus hadn't even left the parking lot before Kai started in. Do we have to walk the whole trail? My legs already hurt. Ms. Patel had heard this exact tone from him on every field trip this year, and she'd learned the only cure was ignoring it completely. Kai whined the whole way there. Out on the trail, Ruby's ice cream cone tipped sideways and hit the dirt in one clean, tragic plop. For a second, she just stared at it. Then her face crumpled, and she sobbed in short, hiccuping bursts, the kind that made it hard to even get a full sentence out between them. Near the fence, Leo wasn't watching where he stepped and caught his shin on a low wooden post. He let out a howl that startled two nearby chickens and made Farmer Miller's old dog answer with one of his own from across the yard. Inside the barn it was dim and smelled like hay and something else nobody could quite name. Little Sam pressed himself against his sister's side, eyes wide, and whimpered softly every time a shadow moved near the stalls. Diego, meanwhile, had wandered off to poke at the goat pen latch, against very clear instructions, and the goats got out. By the time Miss Patel found him, he blubbered his apology, tripping over his own words, trying to explain himself before she'd even asked. The class gathered around the newest arrivals, 3 lambs, born just that morning, wobbling on legs too thin to hold them properly. Emma pressed her hand to her mouth. Her eyes teared up, bright and glassy, though nothing actually fell. She blinked hard and swallowed instead. Old Farmer Miller noticed her watching and smiled. "My wife used to love this part," he said quietly, looking toward the empty farmhouse porch. His eyes stayed wet the whole time he watched the lambs, but his voice never wavered. He wept quietly, the kind of sadness that didn't need to be loud to be real. By the time they reached the pumpkin patch, the youngest visitor of the day, Farmer Miller's granddaughter, barely 3, had lost her favorite balloon to a gust of wind. She wailed, the sound stretching on and on across the whole field until her mother finally scooped her up. And when Ruby's second ice cream cone, a peace offering from Ms. Patel, also toppled off its cone, this time into a puddle, she didn't bother with short gasps anymore. She bawled, loud and unfiltered, sitting right down in the grass. Kai handed her half of his own cone without a word. Ruby sniveled through a small "thank you," sniffling between words as she wiped her nose on her sleeve. By the time the bus pulled back into the school parking lot, muddy, sticky, and thoroughly worn out, even Ms. Patel had to admit, it had been a good day.